2-year-old Cerunne began drawing elaborate sailing ships. She didn't just doodle, she drew them with an uncanny understanding of masts, rigging, and sails, details far beyond her tender age. Her tiny voice then uttered a shocking claim. She was a male sailor in a past life. Cerunne was a quiet child during her first 2 years of life in the Netherlands, a little girl whose motor skills developed remarkably fast. Her mother, Christine Tyson, had experienced a profound and vivid dream during her 8th month of pregnancy with Cerunne. In this dream, a strange, shamanistic, Pictish woman, barefoot and clad in furs, holding deer antlers, telepathically communicated to Christine that she would give birth to a girl. The woman insisted Christine name her Deer. This pre-birth revelation deeply impacted Christine and her husband, leading them to choose the name Cerunne, derived from the Celtic god Cernunnos or Cernunnos, associated with deer and the transition between life and death. The shamanistic figure in the dream also hinted at a difficult past life for the child, a chilling premonition that would soon resonate with Cerunne's spontaneous statements. At just 2 or 3 years old, Cerunne's silence broke with astonishing clarity. She began to speak of a life before this one, a life as a male sailor. She would spontaneously declare that her name in that life was Pier. She described Pier as a thin man with a black beard. Her fascination with sailing was not just verbal. She would often sketch detailed sailing ships, depicting them with a precision that surprised her parents. She claimed to have sailed on a passenger ship named Vurk. On board the Vurk, Pier had many responsibilities. Cerunne recalled having to watch the sails, to monitor the flagpoles, to stand guard, and to care for the passengers. These were not the musings of a typical toddler. They were specific, consistent details. Researchers from the Dutch Foundation for the Scientific Study of Reincarnation took on Cerunne's case. They conducted thorough interviews with her parents, meticulously documenting every word Cerunne spoke about her alleged past. While Cerunne was only 7 years old when some of these interactions took place, and she felt shy talking to strangers about her memories, she firmly affirmed to the researchers that she indeed had memories of a life as Pier. The Foundation's investigation concluded that there was a paranormal process at play, suggesting a strong correlation between Cerunne's claims and a historical individual. Their research indicated that a sailor named Pier, or possibly Pedro, had been involved in migrations from La Coruña, Spain, in the late 19th century. They posited that this Pier had died and was subsequently reborn as Cerunne boats. Unfortunately, further precise details about Pier's birth and death dates, or the exact circumstances of his death, were not widely released in public summaries of the case, leaving a gap in the timeline's specifics. Likewise, details about Pier's daily life as a sailor, his habits, fears, or social relationships beyond his duties on the Vurk, remain unrecorded in the general summaries. Cerunne's daily life, apart from her profound memories, was not extensively detailed in the public accounts. We know she was a girl with a somewhat masculine disposition in her early years. The public records do not specify her hobbies, interests, or typical daily routine as she grew. There is no mention of her school life, friendships, or any significant impact her memories had on her social dynamics, beyond her shyness in discussing them with outsiders. There were no claims of unusual talents, like speaking an old language or mastering an instrument, linked to her past life memories. No physical resemblances between Cerunne and the described Pier, a thin man with a black beard, were noted, largely because no photographic evidence of Pier was made public. Similarly, there's no record of her experiencing specific emotional or psychological symptoms, like anxiety or nightmares, directly tied to her past life memories, beyond the implication of a difficult past life from her mother's dream. She did not recall the exact details of Pier's death. No specific environment, weather, physical pain, sounds, smells, tastes, or emotions surrounding his passing have been documented. There were no reports of meetings or confrontations with Pier's past life family or any specific emotional reactions to objects, symbols, places, music, or smells connected to the past life, beyond her consistent drawings of sailing ships. The case received attention primarily within the reincarnation research community, with no significant media frenzy or community-wide legal or financial disputes arising from her claims. The long-term outcome of Cerunne's memories, whether they faded as she grew older or if they continue to influence her adult life, is not detailed in the publicly available summaries.